Alright, buckle up everyone, because we've got a viewer-requested monster movie marathon on our hands today. This request comes from First Last I Forley for suggesting 3 monster movies. First is Q the Winged Serpent, then The Blob, the original, and Carnosaur. So I watched all 3 of these films, and I wanted to give my thoughts on these so that I can honor this request. So let's dive in and see what these creature features have to offer, or in some cases, don't offer. Alright, so kicking it off, we're going way back to 1982 with Q the Winged Serpent. The premise here is actually kind of cool. An ancient Aztec serpent god starts snacking on New Yorkers, while a jaded detective and down-on-his-luck ex-con tries to unravel the mystery and, not to become monster chow. Now, I don't like starting things off on a sour note, but yeah, this one didn't really do it for me. The acting across the board felt pretty bland, often bordering on awkward. I don't know if it's just the 80s style of things, but it just didn't do it for me. I just couldn't connect with any of these characters, and honestly, I wasn't particularly invested in whether they became the serpent's next meal or not. Visually, the effects are a mixed bag. They're definitely cheesy by today's standards, of course, but there's a certain charm to that old school practical approach, especially some of the gory scenes, those I kind of appreciated. However, the design of the winged serpent itself, pretty uninspired. It really didn't stand out, and it didn't really have any other cool abilities to it, so it was just kind of a generic monster in my opinion. I will give credit where credit's due though. When we actually got to see the serpent in motion through stop motion animation, it was surprisingly well done for the time. There are also a few moments of decent gore, like I mentioned. Beyond that, the music was completely forgettable, just kind of fading into the background. Honestly, despite being an 80s flick, Q felt like it could have been a product of the 50s in terms of its overall execution, a lesser 50s B-movie. I know this film has garnered a bit of a cult following over the years, so if you're a fan, more power to you. But for me personally, Q the Winged Serpent did absolutely nothing. It's one that I won't be revisiting anytime soon. Alright, next we are going to tackle the original 1958 The Blob. Although, I am almost embarrassed to admit that somehow in all my years of monster movie appreciation, I have never actually sat down and watched this classic until now. I knew of it, of course, but actually watching it all the way through, I have not. But for this video, this was a treat. This, my friends, is quintessential 1950s monster B-movie cheese, and I mean that in the best possible way. The characters are genuinely well acted and surprisingly developed for this type of film. That's the undeniable 50s acting charm that just works so well here. How the characters talk to each other, it hasn't been replicated since and only can be found in 50s films. The plot is simple but thrilling, and the pacing kept me engaged from start to finish, unlike Q the Winged Serpent. The music was decent, nothing particularly memorable, but it perfectly complemented the on-screen action. But the real standout here is the blob itself, and the incredible visual effects for its time. Seriously, for a movie from the 50s, the way they brought this amorphous, gelatinous creature to life is genuinely impressive. It looked so advanced and ahead of its time. I absolutely love the way they made it look and move, but the fact that it was made in the 50s just blows my mind. Now, if I had one minor nitpick, it would be the ending. It did feel a little abrupt. I mean, we really don't get to see the full process of how the blob was defeated by the cold. They just kind of freeze it somehow, and off screen they send it to the Arctic, and then boom, credits. But overall, my experience with the blob was fantastic, and I completely understand why it's considered a true classic. I even might want to check out the remake that was made in the 80s. Alright, buckle up guys, because this time we have Carnosaur, released in 1993, and I'm honestly offended that this movie came out the year I was born, because I genuinely think I've never witnessed a film this bad. Where do I even begin? The plot is a mess. The whole females birthing dinosaur thing and the whole environmentalist message was just pathetic and weird, and too on the nose. The characters are paper thin and utterly unlikable. I mean, the main characters, they just are not likable in the beginning, and then they end up getting killed in the end. Spoiler alert. And the acting with them, oh my god, it's like, I know it's like a low-budget 90s cheesy movie, but oh man, it was bad. So basically this movie is memorable for all the wrong reasons. And then there's the dinosaurs. Oh my goodness, the effects are laughably bad. I'm talking community theater puppet show bad. These are supposed to be terrifying prehistoric predators, but they look like they'd be more at home in a low-budget children's show. Even children wouldn't be scared of this. And the soundtrack, forgettable and generic. The ending, just as bad as everything that came before it. Honestly, sitting through Carnosaur felt like a complete waste of an hour and a half of my life. I genuinely wish I could get that time back. So there you have it. Once again, I want to thank First Last for the request. These were my unfiltered thoughts on Q the Winged Serpent, the Blob, and Carnosaur. So basically we had one that I really didn't care for, one that I absolutely love, and finally understood the hype, and one that, well, let's just say is going straight into the cinematic trash bin. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of these films? Do you agree with my takes? Are you a Q defender? Do you also adore the original Blob? And what are your thoughts on the unique charm of Carnosaur? That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay big, G fans.